Another day, another dollar. He's Jeff Nadeau. I'm Donnie Seymour. This is your hot topic of the day presented by PubSportsRadio.com. Jeff, some guys getting mouthy out there in Major League Baseball. We need sports back. It looks like they're turning the corner, Jeff, but a couple people still that little thorn in the side, Jeff, huh?
Yeah, I mean, there's always somebody that has something to say about something, but I got to tell you, I think minorities and majority is going to prevail here.
No, I'm looking forward to too. But the interesting part that we brought up, a lot of times me and Jeff, as you know, hey, we get hot topics, but there's even more hot topics we like to include in a single episode. First, Jeff, let's tackle this. Blake Snell, on I guess playing Major League Baseball 2K or whatever it is on one of these Twitch streams, and he's saying, hey, what's your honest thoughts on this? And he's saying, I'm not playing for less money. It's not worth it. I'd rather just not come back, which kind of struck me a little bit because, look, Jeff, everybody wants their full money, right? So if the owners and the players looking at a 50-50 split saying, look, this isn't normal times. We're losing half our gate. So a player would normally equate that, Jeff, to what? If I'm going to make $8 million, I better at least make $4 million this year. And the owners are coming back saying, on a normal year, yes, if fans came back at 30,000 seats per stadium and, all the parking was there and the concessions, absolutely. But the owners are saying, we're not going to make really any money this year. We can't even pay you a prorated salary.
Yeah, and look, I get where Blake Snell's coming from. This is the first season, Donnie. He's going to make big-time money. He just signed a big $50 million contract. Mm-hmm. You look at his salary this year. He's supposed to make $7 million. Yeah. That's up from the only $1 million he made last year. So he's making 7 times the amount he would have made. And I obviously understand. I mean, Donnie, it's kind of like getting a girlfriend and the girl you always wanted, and then she moves or something. It sucks. I mean, you expect something and then it doesn't happen. But Donnie, keep in mind, it's not forever. Something crazy has happened and we got to do what we got to do. It's not like the owners are saying something crazy like we're going to take 75 and you're going to take 25. Look, at the end of the day, Blake Snell's still going to make 3.5 times more money than he made before. And the fact that he's always, he kind of basically made the point of, it sucks this happens and we shouldn't. It's like they've decided that we're just going to cut you out.
And also, Jeff, like no other sport or human being on earth has been effective but baseball players is how it comes off, right?
Yeah, it comes off. I got to be honest to Blake Snell. It comes off really snobbish.
And again, we always make the point, like, we want you to get your money. You deserve to be paid at the highest level because of what you do. But there are extenuating circumstances, Jeff. And the point we always bring up and laugh at is why us, and I'm meaning us being the public, usually sides with the owners to get back to business. These are one of the reasons. We know owners make money. They're billionaires. We can't really associate that. But when you turn it over to the players, you don't have to come out with the stance. There's easier ways to massage it and say, hey, look, we don't know if this split is fair. But when you actually hear the players itself saying, I ain't coming back till I get my full rate, it's hilarious to actually look at.
Yeah, it's like when Latrell Sprewell declined a $25 million contract.
Can't feed his family.
Can't feed his family from that. Yeah, that's kind of like what you're saying here. I want to say this to Blake Snell because I'm sure he's going to watch.
Yes,
Blake, there are 35 million people in this country that are unemployed right now. You want to whine because you're not going to make your full $7 million this year? Look, I get where he's coming from, Donnie. He only made $1 million coming into this season. I mean, you're supposed to get paid. That's what he's worked hard for, and I get it. But it's not like he's the only one that's dealing with this.
But he said, the issue to him is like the 50-50 split. Let's just say, Jeff, they're only going to have an 82-game schedule or 81-game schedule, which would be roughly half of exactly what you played during the Major League Baseball schedule. He's saying, I make $7 million this year if we play the whole year. I better at least make $3.5 million or it's not worth it to me. When the owners are countering and saying it's not really a truly 81 or 82 game schedule because no fans are coming to spend money, which allows me to make your payments on it. Because when everybody comes in good faith and they always look back, Jeff, and say the guaranteed contract. Yes, it is a guaranteed contract, but it's guaranteed because the baseball stadiums and the baseball, places, they're filled up and all that stuff comes with it. In a pandemic time, you don't have that. So the owners are saying, hey, look, we'll split it with you. If we make, I don't know, Jeff, let's just say $1 billion, we'll make sure the players get $500 million of that billion. And they're saying that's not good enough. I want my full rate per game.
I guess my question is, if they don't have a season, so let's say the players say, look, we're not having a season. Correct. We're not doing this. Yes. They get nothing, right?
They get nothing. The players don't get paid. Correct.
I mean, I'm all for taking a stand. I get it. But again, it's not like they're the only ones doing this.
Yeah.
It's not the only league.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone in this country has been affected. I don't care if you're a billionaire or you make $10 a month. You're affected. Everybody's affected. This is, to me, rude. It's arrogant.
Yeah, it comes off so wrong. Like, even if he's in like the spot of the moment there, you have to be smart enough to know that this is going to make its rounds, because even if you believe, Jeff, deep down that you're worth your $3.5 million this year based on proration, you can't come out and just say, like, I don't really care and I want my money. It just doesn't come off well.
It's also not a flesh-eating disease. Like, it's not like if he gets it, he's going to immediately pass away.
The next step, though, Jeff, you know what the next step is? What he actually said in that? If my body gets it, I don't know the toll it'll take on my body like 20 years later. I'm saying, like, why are we just adding this stuff in that we have no idea even what we're talking about at this point?
I mean, again, though, this is the same guy that could walk out of his house and, get shot in the head. I mean, it's
throw one pitch and you blow your arm out.
Yeah. This is a guy that was injured last year. He had, elbow issues. I mean, he pitches for a living. He goes out and plays a game where people are throwing 100-mile-an-hour fastballs within feet of you. Look, correct. I'm not saying that I don't agree with him. I'm not saying that I don't feel for him. I mean, look, he should be making big-time money. He's probably worked his whole life to make that contract, and he has. I mean, he was just to make $7 million. That's way more.
He just signed a 5-year, $50 million contract that was going to kick in this year.
I mean, think of it like this. Think if you make $50,000 a year. That's like you going from making $50,000 a year to $350,000 a year.
Correct.
I mean, it's huge. I mean, it would change your life. So, I get where he's coming from, but he could either make $3.5 million, which is a nice chunk of change to pitch every fifth day, or make fucking nothing. And it's not like he's the only one doing it. It's not like he's the only player out of 400 or 500 players that are doing it. Why don't you think about the minor leaguers that are making, a quarter of what you make?
You bring up a really good point in that when you say, because it's not really about the minor league system, but it's for the actual good of the game. When you saw the Chris Dudley content out there, that were the tweet that he put out, he made sense. It was like, Jared Dudley. I apologize.
Not Chris. Chris is long gone.
Chris. Yeah. The Dudley boys, just like in wrestling. But when you look at what he was saying, it's like, it's not about me. It's not about you. It's not about who's going to win the title or not win the title. It's about advancing the game, so at least you have a foundation to go in the next year. Because, Jeff, let's just say this happens, right? And Major League Baseball says, we don't even want to play this year, the Players Union. When do you start? When does free agency start? What money is going to be in the pot? What is really going on? If you complete an 82-game season and end it, you can go on as business as usual, setting up the new season. If you just axe it now, Jeff, wait till you see what the owners try to do to you when you say, you cost me an entire year of income. Now we're not going to approve these CBAs.
Listen, all due respect to Blake Snell, this ain't changing anything. No. I hate to tell you. And look, this is one thing that I talked about, and you talked about, about a week ago. I was ultimately in belief that I didn't think the season would happen because of this. Obviously, look, you're telling a player to take a pay cut on a pay cut they've already taken, and now you got to worry about getting injured. The problem, Donnie, we continue and have said in this country with this disease is we've set the precedent that is a terrible, destructive thing. And it is. It's hurt a lot of people. But it's very similar to any other viral thing you get. And we've got to get to a point, Donnie, where we accept it for what it is. Okay, we just do. It's just that simple. We can't live under a rock forever. We can't sit in our house and never leave. It's not going to happen. And if we continue to do it, this country will go further and further into the despair, deeper despair than it already is in. We've got to get to a point. And I credit the leagues for starting to understand that. You look at a lot of these leagues where it's the NBA, the MLB, college football. They're basically saying, look, it's part of life now. Until we get some sort of vaccine, which even if you get a vaccine, I got to tell you, Donnie, there's going to be a lot of people that don't take that vaccine, just like a lot of people don't take the flu shot. It's part of life at this point. We've just got to accept it. Yeah, and one quick point on this. You bring up something that's good, because I think the tide is turning on a lot of people that are saying, look, let's plan for this and let's really try to aim for it. Even though I think Gordon Gee or Gordon G, whatever his name is, used to be, I believe, the president at Ohio State, which I believe now is at West Virginia. He had a great point. Guy's like 80 years old. He goes, we're going to have a football season this year, even if I have to suit up for it. You're not putting people in harm's way, but you're saying, like, look, we have to live. Are there some side consequences on it? Yes. But isn't it always, Jeff, about the greater good, Yeah. And again, like it all goes back to the whole, we've got to move on with our life. I mean, that's how life works. People die, somebody close to you dies. Eventually, Donnie, you got to pick your bootstraps up and move on. That's part of life. And this is shaking the country. We've never seen this. When you're 6 years old, when I'm 7 years old, we'll remember 2020 for the year that it was and the crazy things that happened. But again, life must go on, and sports are big business. And we're seeing you can do it. Okay. You look at college football, that guy in West Virginia knows how much the top
Yes.
25 or 30 programs bring in. I mean, it is. And I got to tell you, Donnie, I'm praying that it happens because you know how much I love college basketball and all the other sports. It is a death knell if college football cannot play. I mean, they just make way more money than everyone else. And yeah, I think they're starting to understand that. Donnie, I'll be honest, I'm not quite sure I understand. And again, I'll say this. I don't understand the thought process behind saying we will not play if students aren't there. It's actually safer if they're not there.
And not even talking about Jeff in 2 weeks. Not even talking about 2 weeks, Jeff, in 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, it makes no sense. I mean, I don't understand it.
And you're not even planning. Like amazing, like the way the Cal State system, the 23 schools are saying no kids. So what happens if you roll through, Jeff, and on August 31st, the CDC comes out and says, you know what? We actually have a cure for this thing. And now you're the university. Oh, my God. We don't have any we didn't plan for anything. Our teachers all moved to other institutions, and our kids aren't even here because they transferred out. Are you kidding me?
It's like when you get fired from it. It's like when you basically burn a bridge with a job, and then 3 weeks later you get fired, and you're like, damn, I wish I could still go back to that job.
Boy, they told me they would love to have me back, but I told them to shove it somewhere, and now I can't go anywhere. Yeah.
It's also like talking shit on the phone to somebody, thinking you'll never see him, and a week later you see him. And
hey, Jeff, how you doing?
How you doing, buddy? Man. You had a lot to say on the phone the other night. Yeah, that's what it is at this point.
I was joking.
Right. Well, of course you were. But again, that's where we are, and that's what I don't understand at the end of the day. So, look, I think and it's funny, dude, because one other thing on this virus, we're starting to see, Donnie, that life can go on outside. So, you look at Georgia, you look at Texas, you look at Florida.
Yes, Arizona, Jeff, they're in the bag line. Look, they're saying, hey, Saturday, come hit some baseballs.
The doomsdayer situation never came, Donnie. I mean, the cases are not a problem. And I know that places like New York and New Jersey, but outside of them, Donnie,
wait, Jeff, everywhere is going to be New York City, Brooklyn within a matter of 2 weeks. Is that correct?
That's what we heard. Everyone was going to be Italy. Italy's going to be a Boy Scout troop compared to what happens here. But let me ask you, Donnie.
Yes.
With this virus, outside of New York and New Jersey,
yes,
has there been any war zones? Because I don't think. I mean, as far as I know,
no. And it's funny because when you talk and equate who's going where, the hospitals are going to be filled up, they're going to make a lot of money. Hospitals are going bankrupt now because they can't even do elective surgeries, and nobody's going to the hospital. The random guy, Jeff, that bumped his head when he was out working on his roof would usually go to the hospital. You know what he's doing now, Jeff? He's just going back into his house, laying down with an ice compressor. Everything has been thrown off by this because we were scared. We were scared off of everything.
And that's the concerning thing about this. The cure has definitely and will definitely be way worse than the actual virus itself. It just is. I mean, you have. And look, thank God for things like unemployment because and that's why this isn't the Great Depression, because in the Great Depression, you weren't getting $1,000 checks every week from the unemployment office.
Your unemployment was head to the soup line and wait there for 6 hours to get a bowl of soup.
Or hey, eat dirt off the fucking floor.
Yes,
that's where you were. So I don't want to hear that this is the Great Depression. It's the Great Depression for our standards because we expect everything to be gold and marble. But look, at the end of the day, we'll get through it. But these sports, it's nice to see some starting to think, hey, if Kevin Love gets the virus, we don't have to shut the Cavs down. Or if LeBron James gets the disease, we don't got to shut the Lakers down.
We're all getting it back together. Hot topics, man. We could roll in these topics for an hour long, but we try to get those short bursts in here and have some fun. Tomorrow's Friday. We're going to get you caught up. I know Jeff has a lot cooking on the weekend that we'll certainly touch for tomorrow. He's Jeff Nadu. I'm Donnie Seymour. Another episode of Hot Topics right here at pubsportsradio.com.